Hi, as far as a parent conference, I would start out with making the parent as comfortable as possible. I would treat them as I would want to be treated as a parent as well. I think as long as you go in as a parent instead of someone superior to the parent, you'll have a better conference. I would start out with making them as comfortable as possible by offering them refreshments or something even I had made. And then I would ask them to get their questionnaire out, and I would get them to sign, showing that they were there and that they understand what we were there for, and try to go over why we were there as briefly as we could before we got started. I would look over their questionnaire and hit a few questions that I thought was really important to start the conference out with. Then I would bring out my artifacts, showing them what I got back and how he was doing on his grades and what he was working on and what he wasn't working on and what was going great and what wasn't going great. I would try to keep the conference as positive as I could while addressing the problems. I think as long as you have a positive attitude instead of a negative attitude and you compliment them more than nag them, I think it'll work out better as far as a conference. Me, personally, as a parent, I hate when you walk in and they treat you like you're just the parent and you have screwed up or you've messed this person to the point where you're not helping or just random things. I like to go in and them acknowledge me as the parent, because I think the parent sets the foundations, and as a teacher, you build on them. You work together as a team, not separately. I think as long as you have a positive communication, when there is a problem, you will feel comfortable talking to that teacher or that parent. I would try to go over as in-depth as I could of what I thought maybe was a problem, and then I would ask them how things were going at home and see if we can come to a agreement on what was going on and how we could help. With him involved in sports, as far as my scenario goes, I would see if maybe he could come in early in the mornings or if he could come in during an elective and work on what he was missing just to try to get him caught up. I would try to remain as positive as I could and not suggest that there was anything wrong with the child. I always will avoid that as far as teaching goes, because I, as a mother with a special needs child, know how it feels to be criticized or to say, well, it's because this is wrong with him, that's why. I want to avoid that altogether. Now, if I did think there was a problem such as ADHD or ADD, I would like to cover that in the parents' conference. I think that's very important. And as a teacher, I am capable of talking about those decisions. If, the parents had more questions, maybe I could bring in somebody that had more information on those subjects or those problems, or where we could start to set him up for an evaluation. I would try to do as much as I could during the conference to break through to those parents that we had to fix this right now. I would love to answer as many questions as I possibly could and explain to them more than I could. I would not use teacher language or anything that would make them feel like I was dumbing them down, or I would not make references that they would not understand. I would try to be as open as I possibly could with what I thought was going on, and I would hope that they would be as open as they could. I look forward to parent conferences, and I want to be the best as I can be. I hate that some parents hate going to parent conferences because they've been so awful. I think that it's a good chance for you to get to know the teacher and for the teacher to get to know the parents And sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. I look forward to meeting all of my parents, and I look forward to sending out notices for my parents. And to get this started, at first, I would send home a letter requesting a parent conference. And then a few weeks later, I would put out a reminder saying this is when you've set out your date, and if you need to reschedule, you need to let me know. And these are your options, or we need to make arrangements for other options. Then I would send out a questionnaire a couple of days before and have them answer a few important questions about what was going on, or what they see that their child lacks and what they see that their child is doing great in. And then the day of the meeting, or the day before, I would call and confirm. And then the day of, I would bring everything in that they've sent to me and all of his work, and we would just sit down and have a great little conversation and see what we could and couldn't work out. It may take more than one conference, and it may take more than a few weeks to get it settled. But as a teacher, I think it's very important for us to work together. And that's how I would hold my conference. Thanks.